Hey everybody, in this demonstration I want to show how to get started using AI video in conjunction with After Effects. I want to show how you can use AI video generators to create video assets that you can use in your After Effects projects, or how you can just use them to create video from scratch like what I've got right here. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. I'm going to be showing how to use Adobe Firefly. That is the Adobe AI generator. It can be used to generate images, audio, video, animation, all kinds of stuff. If you go to firefly.adobe.com, that is how you can get there. And if you're not signed in to your Adobe account, you'll see a sign-in option up here in the top right corner. So I'm already signed into my account here. I'm going to click on the Generate Video option right here to go to the video generator. And there's a lot of different AI video apps that you can use now. I'm using Firefly in this demonstration because I teach Adobe software, and I'm going to show how to bring some stuff from Firefly into After Effects. But there, of course, are a lot of other video generators you can use as well. They all kind of function in similar fashion, and a lot of them use the same AI models. So you'll see here on the left-hand side under General Settings where it says Model, there's a lot of different choices there. So a lot of the different apps use the same models, like the Google VO one here that comes up by default. Now, first thing to understand about AI video generating is it's typically not free. While there are some video generators that claim to be free, if you're using them for free, they typically limit you in terms of what resolution you can work at, what duration the length of your video can be, and oftentimes they'll watermark your work. So to get truly usable results out of AI video, you typically do have to spend credits. So you can see here in Firefly, get credits. So if you don't have any credits, you can purchase some. Credits are basically like tokens that you can use to run the generator and create content. If you click on your account icon, you'll see how many credits you have available, if you have any available. So you can see here I currently have 700 out of my 4,000 allotment currently left until the next monthly reset. So that's typically how it works. It does cost money to generate AI video. Now, the thing you want to pay attention to are your settings over here, because the settings that you choose will determine how many credits it uses. So if you're using the Google VO generator, for example, which is much more photorealistic, and you're using it at 720 HD, for 8-second duration, then it's going to cost you 400 credits. So if you're just starting out and testing ideas, you probably want to drop this down to a cheaper option. So like in Firefly, we can use the built-in Firefly video, drop it down to 540 resolution and 5-second duration, and you can see that's only going to cost 100 credits to generate something. So pay attention to those settings, because if you're just starting out, it's easy to burn through a lot of credits really quickly. All right, now let's talk about these text prompts, because when you're starting out with AI video, you're going to type in a description or type in a text prompt of what you want. Okay, so let's take a look at an example here, the example I was just showing. So this is a piece I created last night that came out pretty good. It took a few tries to kind of dial it in. So I'll show you what the text prompt for this looked like. Okay, so here in my text document, it's this one right here. And so you can see fairly descriptive text prompt telling the AI generator what I wanted to create. Now I'm going to put a link in the comments down below to a great web page on the Adobe site that has a good information here. In fact, let me pull it up. Let me find it. And I'm going to pull the link up here so you guys can see it. On writing effective text prompts for video generation. So I will put this link in the comments down below. And this is a really good read on how to create text prompts for AI video to kind of get what you want. And you got to think about the shot in terms of the camera angle, camera movement, the content of the shot, the style of the shot, and so on. And you got to be real concise with your descriptions. Your description can't be ambiguous, otherwise you're not going to get the results that you want. Now let me pull up another example here that I just did using this text prompt. So for an element that I wanted to use in After Effects, I wanted to create a 3D extrusion of some text and have it spin around. So this is the text prompt that I used right there. And this is the result that it gave me. Not bad. Certainly usable in After Effects. So, I guess what I'm saying here is you can use AI video to, generate video completely, but you can also use it to generate elements that you bring into After Effects and use in your projects. And I think that that's totally acceptable. A lot of people think that using AI is cheating, but it does take some work and some practice to get decent results out of AI. So this is what I did with that 3D text extrusion that I created in the AI video generator. You can see I've used it as an element within an After Effects project. All right, so another thing I want to show you though with AI video here is how you can use frames to kind of get what you want out of AI. So instead of just typing in text, you can also plug in keyframes or reference frames. So let's do an example here. Let me make a new After Effects project, and I'm going to make a composition. I'm going to call this 3D logo. And in fact, whoops, let me check my comp settings again real quick here. 1920. I'll go 720 HD for this one, and let me bring my duration here down to about 15 seconds. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to use a logo to do a 3D animation here. I'm going to grab this logo type file that I've got sitting here, and I'm going to bring it into After Effects. I'll just bring it in as regular footage, add it to my composition. Now, of course, it's a black logo on a black background, so let me go ahead and add a white color card behind it. That way we can see the logo. There we go. Okay, and I'm also going to go ahead and scale that logo up a little bit, like so. Oh, wrong layer. Whoops. There we go. I'll go ahead and scale that up. Now, let's say, I want to use this to create a 3D animation, and I want to use AI video to do it here. So first thing I'm going to do though is just kind of set things up a little bit for the way that I want when I bring it over to the AI video generator. So I'm going to take this layer, I'm going to go layer, create, I'm going to convert it to a shape layer, just like I showed in a previous lesson on how to do 3D extrusions and stuff. That way I can delete the original Illustrator layer, and I can open up the shape layer here, and I can delete some of these groups that I don't want. So I want to get rid of these symbols here that I don't need in my animation. So I will get rid of some stuff. There we go, like that. And I think I want my background also to not just be solid white. I'm going to go ahead and add a gradient effect. I'm going to go to Generate, Gradient Ramp on the background. I'm going to make it a radial gradient. I'm going to swap the colors. There we go. And I'm going to move the center point here to the middle of the frame. And I'm going to move this point here over to the corner like that. Maybe a little further out. There we go. So it's a little bit more subtle. Maybe bring the blend with original up a little bit. Okay, something like that. Now, let's say I want to use this as, my base frame here. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to save, if I want to do an animation, like I want this text to be 3D extruded and maybe spinning around with some particles, maybe have it fly into the frame. So I'll set up a first frame that's just the background. Okay, I'm going to go Composition, Save Frame as File. I'm going to spit this frame out here, Best Settings. I'm going to send it out as a, let's see, it says Photoshop. I'm going to change Photoshop here to JPEG High. There we go. I'm going to send this out to the desktop here. I'm going to call it Ref Frame 1, Reference Frame 1. Okay. Now back to the composition. Let me turn my text or logo layer back on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and export that frame. Save frame as file. Again, same settings, best setting. I'm going to change Photoshop to JPEG. JPEG high. Good. Send it out here to the desktop. I'm going to call this one Ref Frame 2. All right. I'll go ahead and clear those out of there, close the render queue, and exit After Effects. So now I've got these two reference frames here. Let me pull them over so you can see them. There we go. Got two reference frames that I'm going to use for the AI video generator. So these are basically keyframes. So now in Firefly, if I go into my settings here, like I was saying earlier, pick which AI model you want to use, paying attention to how many credits it's going to cost. It kind of tells you, the pros for each one. If it, it has good physics or realism, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go, for this demo, I'll use the VO31, which is the default. I'm going to put the resolution, keep it at 720, widescreen, that's all fine. I'm going to bring my duration here down to 6 seconds instead of 8. That way it's only using 300 credits. And then, so here's where we put in our text prompt. But you see here where we have reference frames. We can load in frames. So I'm going to load in those two frames that I just exported from After Effects. So reference frame 1, I'm going to load that in. And then for the last frame here, reference frame 2, like that. Okay, so that gives it some keyframes to kind of build from. Now I'm going to put in my text prompt. Now, my advice here when you're building, when you're doing your text prompt, first do it in like text edit. Don't do it directly here, just so you don't accidentally hit return and do something, spend credits doing something you didn't mean to do. So open up text edit and write your text prompt ahead of time using a text editor. So for this example, I'm going to define the shot, a 3D animated shot of a 3D extruded logo made of shiny black plastic with bright highlights, which comes flying in from off-screen left, spins around on the y-axis with bright sparkles, or let's say bright with or I'll say with particles swirling around the edges. All right, let's see what I get. So I'm going to copy that and then put it in here into my text prompt. Again, paying attention how many credits I'm spending here. And I'll go ahead and hit generate and see what I get. Okay, sometimes it takes a little while for the video generator to run, depending on how complicated the shot is and what the duration is. Anyway, it's finished. Let's take a look and see what I got here. All right, pretty cool. Pretty much what I typed in, right? It's given me 3D extruded logo with the look that I put in, with particles around the edges. I could, of course, been more descriptive with the way I wanted the particles to look, that kind of thing. But pretty much got what I wanted out of this, okay? So like I was saying earlier, the key thing here is to be concise with your description. If you want any kind of camera movement or angle to the shot, you got to put that in there. The way that it looks, the feel, the style of the shot, you got to be real concise with your description. And it definitely helps if you load up some reference frames to, kind of define the beginning and end of the animation. All right, well, hopefully this demonstration gives you some ideas for how to get started using AI video in your After Effects projects. Now, of course, once I've done this, I can download the file. Just click the download option there. It's going to download it in the resolution that it was generated. And then I can go ahead and locate that file, and it usually says Firefly in the name here, so bring that over. There it is. It's going to be an MP4 file. And then in After Effects, of course, I can bring that file in. Oops. Bring it into my project that I started with. And then I can go ahead and use it as an asset here in my project. Okay. So like I said, I think this is a good use of AI to create elements, create assets that you use in your projects. That example I pulled up earlier, you can see I brought in the video asset here. I had it render it on blue so that I could easily key it. And in fact, some of the video generators here, like the Firefly one, in fact, does have the option, if you go to advanced settings, to render stuff on transparent, if you turn that on. So pay attention to that if you are using AI video to generate elements for your projects. In some cases, you can render with transparent background, or you can always define to just render with a blue background that you can easily key out with a keying filter like Keylight. Okay. Anyway, hopefully this gives you some ideas for getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next recording.